Hi, it's Jill from Jilly Bean Studio. I hope you can join me today for some catching up and a flip through in some creative junk journals, as well as to share some new printables. Welcome to the channel, or welcome back. I'm glad you're here today. So yeah, friends, 3 journals. Junk Journal July, having a good time with that. That's hosted by Meg at Meg Journals and Get Messy Art. Have the prompt list ready to go, so we'll do some catch up with that. The new creative junk journal for July, and some new printables I'd like to share with you. Those are free, and I'll dig into that in a little bit. And then finally, I think this little chunky bit of journal joy, I think it's done. It's as far as I'm going to go. Let's put it that way. So I hope you grab a cup of something that you enjoy. This morning for me, it is a cup of strong black coffee. Okay, so to start, Junk Journal July, if you're not familiar with it, you can go to Meg's Instagram, at least that's where I went, and her YouTube channel, print out the prompts. It's never too late to join. You can just jump in. I don't journal every day anyway, so I usually do a couple prompts at a stretch. And I'm just pulling over some of the things I've gathered for Junk Journal July. I have some, oh gosh, these pretty washies, faux washies from Cat Hand, some old wallpaper, lots of bits and pieces, and I tend to put them in a box top right next to me, so I have everything within reach. And so for Junk Journal July, if you were here last video, and I can link that below, I guess I did the second prompt we did together. I think we did that together. So this is the first prompt, good vibes. And then the second prompt, let me make sure I have let me check this list. There we go, is pop of color. And we did that together with the dried flowers. This next one's a little out of order. That's tickets and tags. And I put one of the leftover flowers on some deli paper. Used a little more of those watercolors and put the packing tape on it. Popped it in a little craft paper half circle pocket. And then prompt 3 is actually after this. So this one, oh my gosh. This I had a blast with. I just have no idea. I never have put in like a kid's book, old book page with dinos on it. And I was really thinking, what in the world am I going to do? And then this prompt of negative space came up, and it led, oh gosh, just like so many creative things we do, right? It led to a whole other thing. I just went down the rabbit hole, as they say, and I ended up being really inspired to make new printables. So these are free if you're interested. They are in my Ko-fi app. I'll link that below. It's also in my YouTube banner, and I just love them. They are craft paper style. They're a little bit whimsical, my drawings, and wonky. The paintbrush definitely is not up to scale there, but I'm good with it. And then I made some of the date numbers if you'd like those too. Again, I don't journal every day, but I do like to pop them in here and there. So I hope you enjoy those. I would love to know if you use them this month. Again, just put a 0 in the Ko-fi app if it asks you for an amount, and I really hope you enjoy them. So next, where are we here with the prompts? Okay, we're in fold out, prompt 5. So I did this with an envelope on the right and then a little envelope on the left. So those are my fold outs. And then layers on layers is prompt 6. And I just went to town. I have So many scraps. And then, oh yeah, and I love this burlap trim that I picked up from the Dollar Tree. So I've been putting bits and pieces of that and edging. I think it's cute. And then for prompt 7, I did that little scrappy envelope with the whimsical cutout flower, very grungy, and that was, what was that? Framed. Prompt 7 was framed. So I still am going to be doing, I think, them in sets, and I still need to do, I think, 8 and 9 by the time this video posts. And what I'm showing you here is, again, if you are new to the channel or didn't see this video, this is an accordion journal made out of 2 envelopes. It's in the last video in terms of the basic construction, and it has 3 signatures. So really a flip-floppy, I'm enjoying that. A flip-floppy kind of journal. And for today, I think I'm just in the gathering stage. I don't know about you. I think I will work on this tonight or later this afternoon. I'm filming this on Sunday morning, the 9th, and I'm just gathering. We have Trader Joe's and Whole Foods near us, and sometimes their brown paper bags have these great graphics on it. So I'm thinking about that for brown paper. And I also have this paper tape, this packing tape. So I'm going to keep those nearby in my scrappy box. I think that's the direction I'm going to go in. And then prompt number 9 is balance. So there will be, I don't know, maybe something symmetrical on that page. I'm not sure. Yeah, so definitely some catching up to do with Junk Journal July. I hope to get to that later today. And then for my new journal, this is the Kraft Notebook. Very similar to a composition notebook, just a little bit smaller. And I took some of that craft paper tape, just like I did last time, painted it with some black acrylic paint. These are 30-page notebooks, and I usually glue 2 pages together with glue stick, but I decided to actually glue 3. So I have 10 pages this month because, again, my journal flow is usually a few times a week I journal. And I've set up the front with a little pocket. We're looking at paint samples for some of the bedrooms, and I really like the lightest blue. Not sure yet. I love this book page. Being in the US Northeast and in Connecticut, it's just a beautiful summer season, even though it's been a little wetter than usual. We did had a beach day or 2. A little bit of a 4th of July spread started. We did have an indoor cookout because it was pouring on the 4th of July. And again, these are just some of the goodies in this little shallow box top. I like it because it's not a deep box and it keeps me sort of, I don't know, it's an organized mess, I guess. It's organized because I can't fill to the bottom of the box, but I just keep tossing things in there. And yeah, I did decide to cover the journal with clear matte contact paper. I ended up picking up a roll of that. I was going to do packing tape, and I thought, you know what, I'll use it. Some more red, white, and blue. Yep, so definitely still working in this journal this week. And oh yeah, this was a fun one. So I was watching Caroline on the hillside. I'll link her channel below. She is doing Junk Journal July, and oh my gosh, I'm loving her accordion journal. And what she did was one day she took a picture of flowers in her garden and printed it out on vellum. And I don't have vellum, but I do have these laser inkjet clear labels. that I've had for quite a while, and I decided why not do something similar. So I did that, printed it out. I have an Epson old inkjet. It's not even the EcoTank one, and made that bit of washi. At this point, my journaling, I think for the beginning of this upcoming week, is going to be to finish prepping this July journal. And one of the tips that I've heard and I can pass along from other journalers is prep all your pages with a little bit of paint, papers, because otherwise your spine, it's just like very similar, really same thing working in a composition notebook. Your spine will get pretty wonky. It will end up kind of getting a little, I don't know, crooked, warped. I don't know what I want to say. So if you end up using paints or papers, or I showed you those quick sticks that are a tempera paint, goes on dry. It's sort of, it always reminds me of chapstick. And you prep your pages ahead of time, then your spine is gonna like your journal a lot more. And you're gonna like your journal a lot more. Yeah, so some prepping this week, kind of finishing out. I'm not sure if I mentioned that the last 15 pages of this notebook, before I glued them down when they were single pages, are perforated. I don't know why the Pen and Gear, I don't know why they did that, but well, I guess someone wants to rip out the pages. I certainly don't. So I think last time I reinforced them with a little more papers and things. I think if you glue your paper together, like double or triple like I did, it's totally fine. It worked out really well in this notebook. And finally, a little more coffee and the flip through. So I hope that you're enjoying your journaling. I would love to know what you're doing for summer journaling. For me, this was a cute little switch to a smaller notebook. I was working in composition notebooks for quite a while, and I'm liking this little cutie. So the July one is this dollar Kraft Notebook from Pen and Gear, and this flip through is the same thing. I bought two. This is my little front tag. Sometimes, on occasion, I put a calendar up front. There's a little vellum pocket, tall pocket, but most of the time I just put a pocket for tags and goodies and things. And a lot of this journal, here's my mom dropping off food again. Thank you, Mom. A lot of this journal I do documenting across the week, everyday things, what we're eating, events, just family and friends, things like that. And I tend to do what's called hidden journaling. I do write sometimes directly on the pages, but a lot of times I'll stick a little note like in this envelope or something. I love that quote, by the way. Lewis Carroll. Inking up the pages, some deli paper, distress oxide. Yeah, so when you're prepping these kind of notebooks, you really can go at them with all of the different tapes and paints and inks. That was a little printable from last month that I backed on cardstock. Another scrappy page. Now I started to put in these Pantone postcards. I love postcards. They're a great, I think, little addition, but then I put them in and I think I journaled on some of them, but not all of them. I just love that color though, that rose quartz. And I think it because I love to play with color and pattern. I think sometimes when I use a solid color on the page, it also tones down some of my colorful maximalist, I guess you'd call it, spreads. There's some tissue paper on the back. That's sort of ghosting because I was using the Ecoline markers under a bunch of different layers of tissue paper. More of last month's printables. We have a little garden. Oh my gosh, we had tomato basil mozzarella. Love it. Some local art. There was a fair and oh yeah, so here's another thing. Sometimes I glue the pages together and washi tape and prep them, and then I feel at a certain point I'm not using them, so I'll make a side loading pocket like I did there. More page prep, but I didn't end up writing. And that's okay. I'm all about the no rules journaling. Little tag. And on this page, I had a tip in that kind of got stuck and ripped. So I ended up using some of that pretty, if I can get this in here, pretty doodled paper that's sort of pinkish on the bottom. Yeah, so getting to mid-month, this is when I was doing some of the prompts. This is Janet Nash. And during her lives, she always pulls prompts, so that was a lot of fun. Love all the layers and textures. And then on the right-hand side, this was cat hands prompt, and I think this one, yes, I definitely did this one on camera. So fun. That's her mixed media morsels, misfit makeovers. Another Pantone postcard. And I grabbed a guest check from my stash. My husband and I went to the beach for a couple nights, and we haven't stayed in a hotel in a long time. And it was hard to book. It's just, yeah, it's just hard to get a place. And so we ended up having a room with a full bed instead of like a queen or a king. And we've been married a long time, but oh boy, yeah, I haven't slept in a full bed in a long time. We had a lot of family in the end of the month, a lot of celebrations. We have Pepe's Pizza. It's pretty well known in Connecticut and delicious. This one I actually did write directly on the page, although I have quite a crinkling glue problem there. I don't know what happened. And what I found towards the end of the journal is I just, rather than kind of keep going, I did just more of, I guess, I don't know, an end of the month summary sort of thing. More of those Pantone postcards and journaling. And yeah, this is it. Oh, my husband went fishing and I grabbed the note. And also, this is it's a clear acetate that you can print on. So I took one of the door printables from June and tried that out, and it worked pretty well. It's an acetate that you can use on an inkjet printer. Lots of fun in that little craft journal. I am enjoying that size. So again, I would love to know what you're enjoying this month. I hope if you're interested, you enjoy the new printables. Thanks so much for stopping by the channel, and happy journaling to you.